Welcome to the night where the paranormal unite. A party like never before under the moon's airy light. The vibe is dark, the air is cold, spirits taking flight. Get haunted and ghost the magazine leading the fright. Ghosts and ghouls dancing hand in hand, lost souls roaming the haunted land. On the battleship New Jersey we gather with glee. Horror and paranormal, a sight to see.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. I want to go over a couple things before we really get rolling. I introduce my guest, Julie Rose. I want to go over the Supernatural Soiree. You can find it at supernaturalsoiree.com. That is SOIREE.com. You can check it out. They have their countdown, 55 days left. They have their advertising, some of the guests that are actually going to be showing up, some of the things that you can actually engage in while you're there. So definitely take a minute, check that out, and definitely enjoy the soiree. Right, we have a lot of folks that are going to be heading out there. Unfortunately, I will not be. I'm actually going to be up at the Wilson Castle Bash, but also to go over November 2nd, we have the East Coast Para Expo happening in Rockland, Massachusetts, hosted by Warner Paranormal and the Warner Paranormal Preservation Society. Definitely come check us out. We have a couple of events and lectures that are going on. We got dual mediumship. We got the Bigfoot Bridgewater Triangle, and we have Respecting Spirits. That's just so far. We have quite a few more to come. Definitely check that out. You can find us at East Coast paraexpo.com, or you can check us out at warnerparanormal.com/upcoming events. So with those out of the way, folks, I do want to introduce my guest, Julie Rose. She's going to be joining with me tonight. And here she is. Julie, say hello to everybody.
Hello there, out there in the land of internet.
So I will say this, guys, this is unfortunately going to be my final Sunday show. I am going to be moving on to Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. The Sunday schedule just doesn't typically work out for me. Have a lot of difficulty with guests as well as timing and family work-life balance. So we're going to be swapping over to 9 o'clock on Tuesdays. But I do want to actually really thank Julie for hopping on today. You know, we don't have a huge show planned. We don't have a ton of things to go over, but I do have a couple of questions. Julie is a medium and tarot reader, along with, is it a Christologist? Is that what it's called? I don't know.
I mean, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, I'm passionate about crystals. I'm a shamanic practitioner, a Reiki practitioner. I'm a teacher. I like to teach all types of different classes and workshops. Passionate about the paranormal, all the things.
So we are obviously both members of the Warner Paranormal Preservation Society, which we got to think of an easier way to say that, WPPS. It's very lengthy, very difficult to get out there. But you do a thing on Facebook Live pretty frequently where you, especially as of late, you've been doing tarot readings on Facebook Live. Right?
Yeah, so it's funny because so what I've been doing, what pertains to this, is the past couple of weeks I've been working with my chakras. So we have our energy systems in our bodies. We have 7 main chakras, and what I was doing is each week focusing my energy specifically on one of the chakras. All week long I would do different things to clear it, cleanse it, and charge it. And this week in particular, I'm at the 5th week and I'm on my throat chakra, and this is the Visuddhara chakra. And it's all about communication, being your authentic self. And so I was like, oh, I never do Facebook Lives. And I need to just get out there, start talking to people, and just maybe pulling some cards, doing some reading, see what comes out. And I feel like it's been pretty fun.
All right. So you were led to do that through your own kind of journey, through your own spiritual movement, right?
Yeah.
So when you're on that live and you're kind of experiencing that and you're going through it with the people on the live, I have to ask, because I'm relatively ignorant to all this stuff. How do you feel you're connecting with those individuals as you reach out through that social medium?
Yeah, so what I like to do is take a few deep breaths, say their name, and shuffle the cards. and just start pulling them, and whatever I see in the cards at the time, I'll say what I see. It's also particularly harder doing something like this on live in a public format, in a public view. I have to be very aware of what I'm saying because other people are watching and listening, and so it's very challenging, and I enjoy the challenge. But I don't know, I've been doing this for a really long time, so it's just like I get into this state of kind of like a flow meditation, and I'll hear words and I'll see images in my head that will just jump out. Sometimes I won't even need the cards.
Okay.
It's really interesting, and it also depends on who I'm reading. But I honestly feel like I did 4 days of lives, and I noticed, because there was some people on there that I didn't know very well at all. I don't know at all. Those are the ones I actually do better on because you have no bias. I don't know anything. So I literally just see kind of and say what I feel. And they've been pretty accurate. They were just quick little readings, and they were fun.
So do you find it's harder to read folks that you actually know because you do have line of sight into their life, and that kind of that bleeds over to the reading?
100%. I do feel like, we as human beings, the closer we are to someone, especially like family members or something like that, it gets harder because you're like, you have, you care about them. But like when it's total strangers and I can't see them at all, like that's why my phone readings are my favorite, because I only hear their voice. I can't see what kind of clothes they're wearing, if how old they are, or if they're married, if they have a ring on, and it's all just pure connecting into the intention and just seeing what comes through.
Okay.
Because we pick up on subconscious and unconscious things when we look at people, like.
So Julie, would you be willing to do some readings tonight on the show? We have people asking.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see what happens.
Let's get into the conversation just a little bit more, because I actually have some really good questions, I think, for you and for what you do. And then we'll do a reading. Stacey, if you want to hang out, we could definitely do that. So what do you do to kind of prepare yourself for those instances where there's going to be bias involved, where you have relevant information in their lives prior to the reading?
I just kind of, I do a lot of this in my own head, and I'll say it, tell me what's for their highest good, the best of their good, and I'll shuffle the cards and I'll try to just eliminate like who they are. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I almost like be like, what does this being across from me, what do their spirits want to tell them? Not what do I want to tell them, because I know they really want this job, and because I don't want to pull some cards but also like when I do see maybe say more negative things, it's hard to tell people flat out, but you say it in a way that people can understand and connect and maybe pivot, because this is all it's a form of entertainment, you know what I mean? But there is definitely something underneath it. We all have the ability to connect psychically and spiritually. So I'm sorry, I got off topic, but yeah.
No. I think it's really good because it does speak to it. Like you brought up a really good point. When there is like negativity coming through on the cards, there is negativity coming in the message. I would imagine having that, and initially asking that question, I was like, how do you, because you've done readings for me and Kim.
Yeah.
And we're friends on Facebook, we're friends in real life. Like you have an idea of what's going on in our lives. And so in my head, I was thinking like, oh, it must be kind of tough to divorce the things that are going on versus the things that are coming through the cards, even though the cards might be just reinforcing the things that you already know. They might be kind of reiterating instances that are already happening. But you brought up the negative thing, and I actually hadn't even thought of that prior, is how do you approach when the cards do have kind of ominous or bad things coming through for people that you genuinely care about and are close with you in your life?
Well, the biggest thing for me is to never put fear. Like there's no need for fear and like, that is going to happen. But it's more like being aware of stuff that could happen and being prepared no matter what path is chosen. Like, what happens, all right, let me get an example. Like, I'm really feeling like something's going to happen with the car. Like, I feel like car trouble or something like that. I'm like, maybe over the next 2 months. But that way, it's almost like not fearing about my car's going to break down, but maybe being aware. Maybe I'll look into when I need to get checked up again. There's always a way to lessen it because at every moment even after I give the reading, you're pivoting into a different reality.
Right.
So it's never set in stone. But a lot of the times, especially with like relationship questions and love, it's very hard, those circumstances, because people's emotions get really tied up. So I always try to bring the energy back on, like, what do you need to do for yourself within a relationship to make a relationship work? You know what I mean? Like, because people, it's very touchy. So
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was one of the things that put me off to tarot originally, and why for a very, very long time I was very condescending to mediums and tarot is rewind probably 13, 14 years ago. We had just moved back up to Massachusetts, and we were at King Richard's Fair, and we went to a tarot reader just for funsies. She went in by herself, and then I went in by myself afterwards. And the tarot reader told both of us we were with the wrong person.
Oh, no one. Yeah. See, no one wants
And
to hear that.
so, or something to that effect. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly what was said. Kim, you're in the chat. You might be able to clarify. But I remember it being very negative towards the relationship on both sides, right? And now, I mean, here we are 15 years later, and that, we have a wonderful child, a wonderful home, and an excellent relationship. I'm just really like, that really set me off for a very long time. Yep, Damien, he's got tarot. Damien actually has a question for you here. How do you concentrate or know the person you're reading for isn't one of the few hundred watching? Well, Damien, lucky for her, on today's show, there's only 8 of you. So narrowing it down won't be that hard. But so what would your biggest piece of advice be on that kind of thing when you are getting that information out there, and how do you try to prime people, I guess, for that reading, and knowing that there isn't necessarily negative, there's just a potential outcome for what's coming, like what's down the road. And that could be influenced by your actions. So do you kind of prime people for that? Do you
I've been doing this for so long. I just get into it and I just do it. But I can just say that all readers are different. Everybody has their own thing. Everybody likes to do different styles or whatever. And it also depends on the person, the individual who's reading your cards. Because I've had circumstances, where I've gone to a psychic and they literally said like really negative things that were like very fearful. And that's a tactic that you see in the newspaper. Some ladies like, oh, this lady conned me out of $5,000 because she said my son had a curse and I had to pay her, the tarot card lady. But like that, those are the type of people that give the bad names. I swear, these are people do that.
Oh no, we have a running joke with Rob that that he's gonna curse people when he does his twisted tarot.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
well, what I'm saying, just take whatever. I've had maybe 2. I've had many different readings, and even those people who were very negative and gave me negative readings and they just kind of wanted more money or whatever, I just took it to like, I'm not those people. I actually genuinely care about people, and I wouldn't want to put fear in somebody. No one likes that.
So what would you say to the folks that say that tarot's more a form of mentalism than it is mediumship?
I can see that there is some type of form of mentalism, but sometimes there's just some stuff you can't explain. Like, you cannot explain. I got to give you an example of one reading that I'll never forget. I had a friend, this was years ago, and I was half asleep. She came over like 15 years ago, and she's like, read my cards. I was like, okay. And I pulled her cards, and I was like, I feel like you're moving out. You're moving. You're getting a place with you and your boyfriend. And she's like, no way, Julie. We haven't looked at places. We're not doing that, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, 1 month from today. I just said it. And no joke, she called me 6 hours later, and she's like, my boyfriend found us a place and signed a lease, and we're moving in 1 month from today. And that was crazy. That was crazy. I'm even getting chills thinking about it now. And there's some instances where things, I almost feel like we're connecting to timelines, different timelines, because time isn't real. And there's also all the realities. I
had a wonderful episode. You go back to my first few episodes, we talked about that.
Yeah,
We
so
talked
that's
about
what I
the
feel like
nonlinear
too.
nature of time and how we are attempting to conform time to our own ability to perceive. So we are perceiving it as linear because we are three-dimensional beings traveling in a four-dimensional model. And so in order to be able to actually function here, we have to create order out of chaos. And
Yes.
so we force time essentially into this linear model.
Yeah, I agree with that. It really resonates with me. I feel like all things are happening right now because, like, there's past lives, and I believe in past lives, but it's like, no, past life is happening right now. The Stone Age, the future, the Earth. That's just what I feel like.
Oh yeah. So Kim brings up about the story of my job. So I'm changing jobs in October. I
Nice.
actually had a phenomenal opportunity come my way, and didn't talk to the wife about it really at all. Didn't give her the company name. Just told her I was taking a meeting. And her and someone close to her both had dreams about this company name prior to me telling them what it was. And it wasn't until probably the day after I signed the paperwork, I told her what the company name was. And she's like, I've been having dreams about that company name for like weeks. And then she had told someone she knew the same thing, that the company name, and they said, "Oh, I've been having strange dreams about that company name as well." And so it was weird. Two people relatively close to me, both having dreams about this company name the entire time, prior to me accepting the job, and prior to them knowing the company name. So, to your timeline thing, like tapping in.
Yes, and it's wild that we all have this ability. We all have an ability to tap into that, and some people have, they can do things easier. Maybe they're more clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. There's just the different clairs, which is a form of getting intuitive psychic
No, no,
messages.
Stacy. I'll be leaving Chase actually. I put my notice in Friday.
Moving on up, moving on up.
Moving on. Yep. All right. I want to take a couple minutes. I want to let you hit up the cards if you want.
Okay. So
I know Stacy has asked for a couple of throwdowns. Maybe we can have a little bit of a demo.
yeah. So who do you want me to try to connect to?
Stacy said that he would take a reading. Yeah, Damien, similar to like a reverse Mandela effect. We're remembering things that haven't happened yet.
So do you want Stacy first?
Yeah, Stacy Talish, Talic Motorsports Media.
Okay. All right, Stacy. What is
I
Stacy?
think Kristen's in line as well.
All right, Stacy. Okay. See what we got. We have the Hierophant. Can you see that guy right there? This is tapping into more of, I feel like, community and spirituality. I feel like, I don't know why I heard Keeping Up with the Jones. I don't know what that means, but so I'll hear weird things in my head. But I feel like this is almost getting groups together, gatherings, facilitating community. And I do feel like it's in a spiritual sense, not so much as in a religious sense, but more of like-minded people and like-minded individuals. Let's see what else we got with this card, because that gives me more clarity when I have more than one. Oh, look at that. Another major arcana, the Judgment. Yeah, I feel like stepping out, putting yourself out there more, maybe even being a director or the focal point or the boss or something of this gathering of people who are kind of looking up to you. So I don't know if you do this already within your work or you're a manager or something like that, but you're going to be calling the shots pretty soon, and it's very exciting. Let's see what else. Stacy. Yes. Being more vulnerable, being more willing to kind of express your emotions, and people are really going to be open to this. They're going to accept what you have to say, and you're almost like, oh, wow, I was thinking way too much. I don't even know why I didn't want to say these things. All right, one more. Let's see. Yeah. So opportunities and just another avenue for what you're into or what you're passionate about. I'm feeling like it's more, it could be work, but it's also just like something it's just more than just getting money and things like that. It's like it feeds your soul type of thing. I'm seeing by the new year. I heard new year, so I'll literally hear words in my head. So it's like my higher self or my spirit guides. And this happened. I started getting this ability probably, I want to say 2015, 16, even though I've been reading cards since 2002. Like our abilities grow and change. So I don't know if that helped at all or that was in there, but
He is receiving a Santeria priesthood in about 6 months. So
no way. That's awesome. Yes. This is all about that. This is all about that. And I feel like you're going to become like an upper level. And it's almost like there's other people, you might even meet a woman or a mentor that knows the opposite of what you know, and that shows you stuff.
it's interesting because in the cards you even said you had made mention of like religious leadership. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know. It says it right because look at this guy. Wait, not this one.
Here, let's
Sorry,
make
they're all
this
crazy.
easier.
But he's like, it's like the Pope. But I wasn't feeling the sense of that. But I was. It was very spirituality, but in your own passionate way, especially like judgment. Now it makes sense. So it's interesting when I go in blind and I don't know anything at all. A lot of things will come up, and once I get like a few sentences or whatever is kind of going on, sometimes I can get more, which is really cool. And then we're just gonna pull one more since we got more overall because of this priesthood. Well, what's gonna go on? The Four of Swords, definitely leveling up. Massive like downloads, insights. Like there's abilities and things that you haven't even connected to yet that once you do, that you're going to look back at past situations, you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So, and then April. So I'm seeing January and April of 2025 being important months for you next year. It might even be a transition with your work in April because you have these new opportunities opening. I hope that gave you some type of insight.
I agree, Russ. Julie's always an
Russ,
excellent guest.
thank you so much. Appreciate you.
So we do have 3 other people that asked for readings. I figure maybe we do one more and then we do a little bit more in it later. Get back to our
whatever's
conversation
good.
just a little bit.
Whatever you like.
All right, so we got Kristen Soul was the
okay,
the other
Kristen,
one that
this
asked.
one's for you. All right.
And then we I am seeing it out there, Brandy. I do see that for you, and Beth. I see you both. We'll get to you.
What's happening with Kristen? What does she need to know right now? What's going on with Kristen? Okay. All right. First up, we have Two of Cups. Nice card. I feel like relationships, connections. And I also feel like maybe you and one other person coming together and being more better communication. I feel like it's on the other partner side though. Like I don't know if they're very busy or something's going on with them, or if you're not in a relationship, if you're talking to someone, I feel like more communication's coming through on their side. But let's pull another card because it can give me some more insight. Oh, look at that! I pulled the Queen of Cups again. But yeah, this is because another wonderful thing too is every time I do a reading for someone, even say every reading I do tonight, I pull this card, the meaning will change. The meaning will tweak and change, and it's super interesting because you figured it'd have the same meaning, but reading tarot is not all about just reading what the cards mean. It's actually what I intuitively feel in that moment. So for you, I feel like there's some energy there within the relationship or wanting more love that's going to change because you're loving yourself more. That's what I feel like. You're feeling good about yourself. You're loving yourself more, and it's just literally radiating out from you. I'm getting the timeline from between now and December is a really good time for you to step more into yourself and kind of embrace having fun, but also taking care of yourself. Maybe like, I don't know if you meditate or get your hand on something like that, but let's see what else. This Hangman. Yes, that makes so much sense. So sacrificing, but willingly sacrificing. Like, so maybe if you, because I feel like, I don't know if you're a person, I got like mixed I don't know if you're a Gemini or something like that, or Pisces, but I just got these mixed emotions of like, you're either going out all the time or you're not going out, but like balancing that. So like if you're feeling stressed like on the weekends, maybe on a Saturday you stay in and get stuff done because otherwise you get overwhelmed and you're like, oh my God, this week I should have done all these things. But this is like a next couple months is of getting rebalanced and realigned and getting things in order. Because I think, wait, let's see, one more. Yeah. I don't know. Are you in Aries? Oh, okay. Are you in a relationship? Because I feel like that person in your life is there's someone strong coming in there. If that's, I don't know, I'm not sure, because I feel like they match your energy. They have like a fiery essence to you, even though they're a little more quiet than you are. They hold it, it's getting better, even better than it already is. So it's almost like making time for yourself and the relationship. I don't know, that's the two things I'm getting. And then you're going to have more time on your hands to have fun. So I hope that gave you some type of insight. These are little quick ones. Oh, I'm so happy you like that. That means so much to me, guys. Anytime people appreciate the readings, I really appreciate it.
No, and you know, honestly, everybody in the chat and the side is definitely appreciating it as well. And so as you went through that, right, you were able to kind of pull cards, you were able to kind of tap into some of the different things that are out there, whether it's, you know, you reaching out, the cards reaching out. What's your perspective on that? Because I've heard both, where it's, and I think you were the one that said it's more the cards are interpreting what's coming through, and like you're using them as a channel to connect with the individual, right? And so I've heard other people say that they connect directly. What's your take on that?
You know what? I feel like it's a mix. I feel like it's definitely a mix. It depends on the state that I'm in. When I'm in like prime state or like feeling very centered and balanced and grounded. And I also notice too, for me, when I start to do readings by like the couple in, I'm like on fire. Like I'm like, oh, this is like, but near the end, when I start to get tired, I'm kind of like, and this is what I'm talking about. Like when I do like 15, 20 people all in a day.
So this is one thing I want to bring up too, because, you know, for as much as we're talking about it right now, you host spiritual mediumship meetings, right?
Yes,
like,
yes.
You do trainings, you talk a lot about it there. I've actually been able to go to a couple. I've actually really enjoyed them. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, 100%. So that's so interesting because psychic energy and doing psychic work is completely different than doing mediumship and connecting to spirits and entities. And it's just a different energy. It's a different vibration. It's like a different plane. Like we were talking about, like the different levels of consciousness. And, but I love both of them so much. I mean, I started with doing readings and I've always had the mediumship within me. And when I finally opened up to it fully, it's I find it a blessing. I know it's scary to a lot of people. Oh, you're talking to dead people, but you know, you are a channel. You're actually helping people. You're helping the spirits. You're helping people, loved ones who are mourning. And again, I personally believe we all have this gift and ability. And when we tap into it and practice, just like anything else, if some people it comes more naturally to, you're able to do it more naturally. But if you consistently sit with it and work on it and learn all the knowledge that you can and have mentors and go to these mediumship circles, you become more and more open to it. And, you know, when you're ready, it happens. And also it's interesting to see how it changes for you. In our circles, we do it once a month at Hofstra Hall, and that place is incredibly amazing. It's an old Civil War hall in Rockland, and the energy there is electric. And it's all positive energy. There's no demons. There's no negative things like that there. It's always great. And what I do is I'll come in ahead of time. I'll sit, and I'll open the space, and then I'll greet everybody, and then we'll open the space again to when we want to communicate. And I bring you through a guided meditation, in which we will have a chance to practicing connecting to spirits and loved ones. And it's so fascinating because each individual gets different messages. Sometimes they'll see spirit guides. they'll get messages for the building or for people in the actual room, or even they might even connect to their own loved ones that passed. And it changes each time depending on, it's called an open circle. So meaning anybody can come at any time, any level, someone who's never done it, someone who does platform readings for years. Like we just want all different experiences and levels to come. So that way the circle changes each month, and it's really cool because a lot of different things will come up, and it's very healing. I noticed that at the end of each circle, we all have like this healing thing, and sometimes we have smaller groups, so we'll at the end of the circle as well, because we do a lot of the mediumship, and then we might do some psychic work. We might read each other, pull some cards, do some psychometry, or I kind of want to do some automated writing, or just to show people different tastes of different things, because like I said earlier, we all have different gifts, and someone might find it easier to do one than the other.
So I actually have a question on that. So you had said earlier that the mediumship versus the tarot is wildly different, right? It's a different reverberation.
Yeah.
Could you contextualize that? Like, could you describe that a little bit more? Because for someone that isn't really in the mediumship side or the tarot side, the idea of connecting externally for information or connecting to a different stream of thought seems pretty universal. So, like, to me, I would have a hard time kind of understanding how it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe if you could talk a little bit about that, because to me it would be very similar muscles, I would think, where you're reaching out beyond yourself for that kind of interaction.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's hard to describe. So with the psychic work, okay, I'm gonna say on a scale of energy, of vibration, of that, and we live on level 2. We live on level 2. This is who we are. This is what we do day to day. And we'll say level 4 is our intuitive inner feelings, our gut feelings. Oh, someone's going to call. They pick up the phone, or you get a letter in the mail that you've been waiting for. You think that intuitive feeling. And then I would say like a level 6 is the psychic stuff. For me personally, it comes in my own voice, but it's a different voice. It's like my higher self. And it's always usually more day-to-day things, like people's jobs, people's love life, or interest. I feel like it's more material and physical based. And then the mediumship is like level 8. It's higher energy because they're higher vibrating spirits. They have to lower their energy, and we have to raise our energy so we can link and meld to get these messages.
Okay, so it's more of so for you, the mediumship is more of two energies kind of finding middle ground.
Yes.
Whereas the tarot is essentially you're looking at a stream and you're able to kind of go right to the stream.
That's how. I'm almost tapping into like the all, and then the spirits are like just a little bit like, well, they're in the all too. So like I said, it's hard to explain. But what the spirits too, and a lot of people think mediumship and seeing ghosts, they're like always, when you get the messages, hey, they see a spirit right there and they're talking to them like in a movie, and like 99.9% it's not like that. There's all different forms of mediumship. What I do is mental mediumship, so it's all within your mind. You speak with them in your mind, you see images, you'll hear voices, you'll get letters, numbers in your mind. And this is kind of like what I teach in our circles, or if someone's new to it or they don't know anything. But there's all other types of there's physical mediumship, there's and that's a lot harder, and that's more rare.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times they say that these people have to be born with these special abilities within their brain chemistry. So I don't know do you know who Tyler Henry is?
No, I don't know who anybody is.
Oh, okay. So he's awesome. He's a young guy. He's a big famous Hollywood. He does all the mediumship readings for the people on TV. They did a brain scan on him. They put a helmet on him and they did the scan. And when he was doing readings, he was actually in the state, I can't remember which state it was, but it was in that like alpha, beta, the one right when you're sleeping and you're dreaming.
Yep.
That I'm not saying probably the right state, but there's a science to it that the brain is in a functioning state where he's receiving all these messages. And I believe that anybody who does this work, it's like that. Obviously, he was probably born with more capability in his brain. but it's
Okay.
extremely fascinating.
All right, we got a couple of comments coming in. Could be possible you have a spiritual attachment and it's feeding you the information. I think that that kind of falls, and again, maybe I might be wrong here, but I think that, that kind of falls into like the spirit guide type situation, right? Where if there's a spirit attachment that's looking to kind of lead you and give you information, it'd be pretty much an attachment. Oh, Nicole Saint Germain with a novel here. So question. I've been told by many people that I have the gift. Some people believe we can unlock it, and I don't know where I stand in belief on it, but I feel like I've unlocked it before, and for me, it was flashing images and I had to put it together like a puzzle. I saw bits and pieces of the person. So is that mediumship also?
Oh, 100%. That's
I
also
agree
mediumship.
entirely.
100%.
Yeah.
And they also there's I've seen all different mediums on platform readings, and they create most of them create a library, so you can only use what you know. You know what I mean? And they reference your brain library to show you things. So like if you're asking them questions in your head like, oh, what did you do for work, and they show an apple, and if that was something that you created ahead of time and created, okay, apple always means teacher, and then you would say teacher. There's just different forms of how you do it. So that reminds me of that. It's almost like
Yeah.
it's always symbolic, and it's what they use, they use the information you know.
So I'm coming to terms with the fact that there's some certain things that I've been able to do over the years, and I think they're just core parts of who I am, right? Like I don't think that they're necessarily abilities; they're just kind of how I'm wired.
Yeah.
And actually, Danny Marie actually was able to give me some language around this, which is called claircognition, which is where you just kind of know things and you got to put it together. You don't necessarily know where it's coming from. You didn't reach out for it. You just have kind of the reptilian part of your brain is tapped into a different layer of it of information, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, that kind of sounds like how I've dealt with stuff in the past, where there are things that just are known to me for no other reason besides that I know it. All right, I do want to get to a couple of other people. How are those cards feeling? Are they getting warm?
Oh, yeah.
So
I wanted to say one more thing about the attachment stuff he was talking about. Yeah, I've definitely experienced attachments and or negative ones, but that's why it's so important to clear your energy. Even if it's not negative, there could just be like a loving spirit that kind of wants to use their personality on you and live through you or whatever, and they're not necessarily bad or evil or good or whatever. You still have to clear your energy and call your own energy back. That's something important when you do this type of work.
Just got to double check. Beth, are you still out there? Sierra, we definitely see you there. We'll grab you tonight for sure. Sierra's never had a tarot reading before, so.
Ooh, those are my favorite.
But Beth is still with us if you want to fire that off.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Beth. What does Beth need to know right now?
Brandy and Sierra are up next. They're definitely still coming through.
Okay, when they start to stop shuffling, that means I need to go on. So, Beth, what do we have? All right, Beth, we have the 10 of Wands. Hard work, lots of work, being very busy. I feel like you're hustling. You're striving to be better and have better and more. And whether it be within work or your personal life, it's a lot. I mean, having to have all this stuff going on and maybe not have as much time for yourself, but let's see where it's gonna happen because of that. Let's see. Oh, nice. Yeah, you intuitively know that this is all gonna pay off. There's big moves to be made in which direction you want to go in. So I almost feel like I don't know if you work two jobs or if you have, like, you work a job and you have a passion that you do that you make money or you want to make money from. But there's coming a time where you know you need to make this move. Listen to your intuition and also learn more knowledge, almost going to school for yourself. Even do self-education online, YouTube videos, reading. I don't know if you're into that type of stuff, but I feel like that will really advance you into whatever you're looking into. And then we have, the Fool. I love the Fool. The Fool is my favorite card. So, especially with the Fool, because it really depends on all the other cards around it, but the Fool is like, anything can happen, like a newborn baby, all like the sky's the limit. And especially with these cards here, you know, you're feeling not like, oh, I can't do it, like, oh, it might be foolish, but it's not, because you already know these moves that you need to make within the circumstances. So I almost feel like either you're doing too much work and not receiving enough abundance, or you're receiving a lot of abundance, but you don't have time. So it's something of balancing about your time too. And then one more. Yeah, that's work too. So almost like you should be getting, I don't know if you're worth more value, and you are a valuable person. So that's what these cards are saying for me, for you. And I think, I don't know if there's someone close to you. I feel like maybe a younger person. I don't know if you have children or a brother or sister or something like that, but or you take care of kids. There's some type of good stuff coming for them as well. I hope I gave you a little insight there. Yeah.
All right. And then so the next one we had up was Brandy Sampson.
Okay. All right, Brandy. What's happening with Brandy? Brandy. What does Brandy need to know? All right, so they're flipping, so that means I need to. All right. Brandy. Oh. We have the Queen of Wands. Yes, I love this card too. I'm sorry, I like a lot of the cards. But yeah, I feel like you're taking more action-orientated things. You're pushing yourself with self-discipline, and if you're not doing that, you're about to, because you're feeling, all right, this is it. I'm going to do it. Even though I'm a little tired, I'm going to do this today. Oh, now I feel so much better that I did it. Let's see what it pertains to. So I don't know. It's usually, okay. 7 of Swords. So that means, yeah, again, with what do you want? Like if you want, you gotta make boundaries with people, and because I feel like you're not a people pleaser, but you might like just say yes to a lot of things and all of a sudden not have time, and then you're mad because you have all these things that you want to do for yourself, and time goes by so quickly. Let's see. Oh, okay. We have. Yeah, the Knight of Swords, the Page of Swords, and this one flipped over the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, so because otherwise, I feel like you might get snappy and be like, oh, and be like, oh man, all that could have been avoided with these people, or not catering to others, because there's certain people in people's lives, like best friends or family or something like that, it's hard to say no to. And I think that if you not necessarily say no, or just give yourself space. So that's what I'm feeling, because there's so many opportunities coming, and once this opportunities happen, you won't have time to do like the hanging out, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so busy, I got to get ready for this awesome new thing that's coming, but I don't have time because this person's absorbing my energy. But it's very mundane things. It's not like very negative per se, but as long as you kind of, this is your year, so I'm trying to reclaim your year again. I don't know if that gives you some insight. I'm feeling good about a lot of these people's cards, because I think that it's almost like pulling back the power to themselves for this second half of the year.
That's awesome. All right, the last one, and I'm very excited to do this. Last person up in queue is Sierra. She's been in the field 2 years, has never had a tarot. So I'm very excited to see how this goes.
All right, Sierra, this one's for you. All right, Sierra, what does she need to know right now? Sierra. Oh, we have the 6 of Swords. This is a card of moving forward, moving beyond hard times. You know, there's maybe some circumstances that are still playing out that can be, difficult or aggravating or annoying, but I think that they're going to become a lot smoother, a lot easier to deal with. And oh yeah, money, finances, maybe financing things that you want to do and have more money for fun, because that's all. Everybody wants more money, but I feel like you're definitely opening doors to receive that, to actually get paid to do what you love. And yay, the Empress. Are you a mother, or are you close to your mother? I'm not sure, but a lot of motherly love, or connecting to a spirit. I feel like a lot of, see, it's interesting. Like I'm getting a lot of spirit energy around this one, and I don't know if you had someone pass away recently, that was a woman in your life, but like you're almost like channeling some of their energy, and they're empowering you to really step forward in being seen. All right, one more. Yeah. And it's just some funky way, like some good way, like some way that you can be seen or shine that's unique to yourself. And I don't know, there's a lot of women around you that support you. And knowing that you have the power. You got the power. So I don't know if that helps y'all. Oh, okay, good. Yes, yeah. So she's going to tell you some insight. She's going to say some things and be like, oh, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this now. That's what I'm going to do. It's almost like the 2-sentence words, that the wise wisdom words that you'll hear from her, and you'll be like, oh my gosh. And that's it. That's like the new motto that you'll go through. And I'm seeing, I don't know, I feel like relatively soon. I feel like within the next 2 weeks. So that's, I don't know. Cool. Give you some insights. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to read your cards. I really appreciate it.
So we got Damien who's running a spirit box while you're doing this.
Oh, I love that. I just bought a spirit box myself. I got one.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. How do you like it?
I like it. It's similar to the one that you have brought to the Oliver house, but it's like smaller, and it's pretty good. I've been doing it in places that are like real random, like parks and like camping, and it's been very interesting. They almost feel like they fight over each other trying to talk because no one does that there.
Yeah, I thought that was actually a really cool idea. What you're doing is you're traveling with the spirit box, moving through different spaces that are normally not spaces that you'd be doing these kind of investigations or these kind of using this kind of equipment in.
Yeah.
You're moving like through like a regular day, like during the day, you're going through, you're going for a walk. What kind of things have you been getting through on that?
Oh, it's really interesting because some spots in like certain parks, I'm a nature person. I'm always outside, and I notice that there's nothing. You get nothing. You'll just hear radio or static. Then you'll move to another area where it's like a lot of voices. I almost get like historical land, the people who are on the land. So we were to Webb Park, which is in Weymouth.
Mm-hmm.
And that place has a lot of history, a lot of Native American history there. But I also feel like there was like, what is it called? Not Puritans, but you know, the old timey settlers.
Yeah, the Puritans. Yeah, the Pilgrims and the Puritans.
Yeah, and I feel like there was some guy from the. So what I want to do moving forward is I need to videotape myself doing it, to review it, and because when you're doing it in your hand, you're kind of like, oh, and then you can't review it, and you're like, oh, I thought it.
It's actually funny. If you want, I ordered a couple of GoPros. Well, I actually ordered one.
Cool. I have an old one. I gotta find it.
And I got two. So I actually have an extra GoPro now. If you want it. They shipped me two. I reached out and they.
Man, I'll borrow it. May take some footage some places because it's wild, this type of stuff you get.
No, and you can grab that and take it, and we'll figure it out. We'll get it over to you. All right, so we're coming up on the 50-minute mark. So we got about 10 minutes left. Is there anything you want to go over? Anything that's kind of weighing on you that you want to share, or?
You know, the stuff I mentioned in the beginning, the chakra work. Yeah, it's such powerful work, and I've been doing a lot of studying lately about that, and about the Golden Dawn and like the Tree of Life and Kabbalah. It's like it's more of like how they all correlate, and you know, ceremonial magic, all that stuff, and it's so fascinating that all these different aspects of spirituality or ritual or ceremony, whatever, they're all different, but they're all similar. There's all these similar undertones that we as human beings, regardless of where you're from or what you believe in, that we need to clear energetically.
Okay.
And I just, you know, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing this chakra thing again, where each week we'll focus on a chakra, clear it out, cleanse it out, or work with it. And I'm going to offer it for free on Facebook, just anybody who wants to join the group. So I just wanted to
So
throw that out there.
what's the process on that? So you talked about it earlier when we first got started. You said you were doing your throat chakra. That's what led you to do the lives and the tarot and kind of
Yeah.
to speak yourself more. So that's for you, the expressing and the clearing and the cleansing of the throat chakra is just being more assertive with your voice, right? Like really taking ownership of it and utilizing it for a purpose. What are some of the other chakras and cleansings that you're
Okay.
going
Yeah.
through?
Yeah. So each chakra represents different areas and different energies within your life. There's 7, but there's more than 7, but we just focus on the main 7 chakras. And we start with the root chakra, which is the Muladhara, which is Sanskrit for root chakra. Chakra, that's how you pronounce it. I always want to say it because I have a Boston accent, so I want to say it the not right way. But that's more about like survival and stability and your needs and your basic human needs. And then it goes up, which is at your tailbone, the base of your spine. And then it goes up to your sacral chakra, which is right below your belly button. This is more about the creativity and sensuality and sexual things. And then it goes up to your solar plexus, which is your confidence.
So I'd imagine the viewership's going to be pretty high on the cleansing of that chakra week.
Yeah, it's always a nice one, but it goes up, and each one has different things that different colors that I resonate with, and there's all types of stuff you can do, like there's essential oils, you can eat certain foods, you can do yoga poses, you can do certain meditations and chants for them. I just find it extremely powerful, and it's made an impact in my life when I spent the time to actually just focus on one for a whole week, for the whole 7 days, and I just feel like it shifts. Oh, you're welcome, Brandy. I'm glad you enjoyed your reading. It just shifts your energy in a way that you're like, oh, this is pretty good, and things will come up for you too each week. But also there's 4 chakras below are your more earth chakras, and then there's the 3 spiritual chakras is your throat, your third eye, and your crown. So it's a whole nother ball game. That's why I'm like really stepping out of my comfort zone, doing more lives and being vocal.
So I mean, is that something you want to do a series on, or I mean,
I do want to. Yes, I am going to start it again in the end of September. And I was just thinking, just throwing a Facebook group page together, and whoever wanted to join, we could talk about things during the week, and then we could do like a live video at the end of the week to see what we experienced and what came up. And
well, so I'd love to actually host that for you if you want.
That'd be awesome. That'd be
I'll
amazing.
talk to the folks over at Get Haunted and see if we can do like a chakra
oh my
series,
gosh,
right?
I would love that. I would love that. That would be incredible.
We could talk to Danny. Danny does a lot of that as well. I think that'd be kind of cool. I'll talk to
we
them.
could even do it together. Get a team, whoever wants to do it. I feel like we all learn from each other, and we all have different insights. And I think the more the merrier. And that's why I wanted to offer it to just to anybody who does. Even if you worked with your chakras and you know a lot, like you could still just clear them and work on them all the time, because we collect energy where we go, and our emotions, our day to day, we build up tension in our bodies and our energetics.
All right, yeah. So let me put some things together. Let me see what I can do, and
cool.
Either with me through the StreamYard and through Facebook Live and everything like that, or maybe with Danny or some of the other Get Haunted folks. We could do We could do a chakra mini series. Now, is that like one chakra per week for 5 weeks, or what is?
For 7, it would be 7 weeks, and it would be one chakra per week for 7 weeks, and then I think that maybe the 8th week would be like an overall thing. Because there's so much more. There's other chakras. There's like sky. There's the sky, earth. There's so many, but we just focus on those ones. So much information.
And so Damien's trying to figure out if he can practice chakra work without harming any attachments.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Oh, okay. So you like that because I don't know if you want the attachments or you.
Yeah, he chooses to retain as many as he can.
He's using. Oh, okay, totally. Yeah, that's a fascinating one. I'll have to try to look into that. I'm not 100% sure. I know each thing that you do, like or a ceremony or a spirituality or is all different. So you might have to double check yourself with that as well, and I'll try to double check. because I was also, yeah, I'm really interested in the Tree of Life and the Kabbalah and the Sephiroth and all those things, but that's like a different thing. You can't fully align the chakras to that. Like there's so much information, but right now, I think the chakras is sounds good.
All right.
I'm like all the things.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm actually gonna. I think now is kind of a good stopping point before we roll into too much. And I know we have a 7 o'clock show coming on as well as an 8 o'clock.
Nice.
I don't want to overlap too much into those shows because again, one
Yeah.
can be Danny. So I want to make sure that we give them space to do their show, and I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to say stay blessed, everybody, stay good. And Julie, do you have anything you want to say as a sign off?
Oh, I appreciate you all joining. I appreciate you, Ian, for having me on. This has been awesome, and looking forward to connecting more.
All right, we'll definitely see Julie again soon. Have a great night, everybody.
Peace out.